Oh my god, you guys. I decided to do a video on my souvenir programs and I've tried to get them all out on my bed for a photo and look at them all. Like, seriously. These have been in a cupboard under my bed and yeah, look at them all. Let's talk about them then, shall we? Hi guys, how are you? So, as you've just seen, I have got a lot of theatre programmes. I've been an avid theatre goer since I was like 10 years old, even before that actually. I think I was like 6 and I went to see Joseph in Blackpool. I think it was like Darren Day was in Manchester and he was the first Joseph I saw, and Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And then Aled Jones we saw in Blackpool. And from then on, like, my interest in theatre just grew. And when I was 10, my next production I went to see was Phantom of the Opera for the first time with my aunt. We went down for the day and then we returned on my 16th, and it was after my 16th and I started being able to decide for myself like what I wanted to do and things I wanted to do in my spare time, that theatre going really took off for me. So I've been having like a little tot up of some of my programmes today. And I just thought I'd talk about some of my favourite ones with you, if you don't mind. I'm going to keep talking anyway, so you can turn off now if you want. But I was just looking through my Phantom programmes, for example, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8 Phantom souvenir brochures, and I've got 9 Wicked programme souvenir brochures. I've got 5 Hairspray ones. 3 Miss Saigon, in fact no, that's 4, and one of the programmes I've got I didn't even actually see that production. It was like the very first national tour, which I never even saw, but somehow I've got a programme for it. I've got 2 Olivers, I've got 3 We Will Rock You souvenir brochures, I've got a Hair one from when Hair came over to London with the Broadway cast. Oh, I miss these guys so much. And yeah, I've got like 2 Grease ones. But anyway, I'm going to talk about some of my favourite ones with you guys. So first up, I think this is my oldest programme. It's Phantom of the Opera, and back when I was 10, this is the one I got when I was 10, and it's very different to how they are now. This is how it was back then in like 1997, and this is kind of what they're like now. So it's like the big mask logo, but back then they looked like this, and it's very, very thin, and it's not as weighty as the ones that they have now, and to be honest, the picture quality is not great. I mean, this cast here, it's got Peter Cousins as the Phantom, Mira Malmberg as Christine, Mike Sterling as Raoul. I remember my cousin moaning we had understudies, but I can't remember who the heck for, because back when I was 10 I was just excited to be seeing my first West End show, and I didn't really know and care about understudies back then. But the quality of the pictures there, like that is really, really dark, and I'll show you on another page, like Masquerade there, it's really, really dark and the picture quality is not brilliant. But I guess that's what cameras were like back then. And again here, again the pictures are not the best quality. And you compare it to one from like now, and like look at the Masquerade scene there. Like the difference, it's amazing what a bit of extra lighting and like special photography skills can do. Also the feel of these programmes is a lot different as well. These are very glossy, the new ones, whereas this one, it's kind of stained actually, but it's like a little book and it's got a little red leather marker thing. But I love this programme and I love to look at it and like try and remember from when I first saw Phantom. It's a bit difficult now because it was like 18 years ago, but it's nice to look back on and think, yeah, this was the very first West End show I ever saw. Years and years and years ago, my parents took me to see Grease on tour, and I believe we saw this production at Manchester, at the Opera House. Yes, we did. and my Danny and Sandy are Shane Ritchie and a woman called Helen Way. This is very, very light in weight as well. Again, the picture quality is not the best. It's like something from a selfie version of an iPhone, I guess you could say. It's the very dark, grainy kind of looking pictures, but it's good. It gives you a history of the show as well, and pick words from like the producers. They have this open up bit as well in the middle where there's like different scenes. And I can just about remember this production, and I think I remember Shane Ritchie as Danny and like laughing at him. He was quite a comedy kind of, because he was in, I think he was like a comedian back then. But yeah, I remember this production quite well, and it when I went to see it in London a few years ago, I couldn't remember much difference between it in London and on tour. So that's a nice little souvenir brochure from, it might have been 1996, in which case it's only a year older than my Phantom one. But yeah, very cool, and the reflective glasses, which they don't have on the modern one. I've got a modern one of Grease here as well, and the difference is, again, like, it's the same with like picture quality and everything. So the third programme I want to show you, which is one of my favourites, is Wicked. Now, I've seen most of the Wicked casts over the years. I've got like 9 programmes, so that's 9 years of Wicked. I didn't catch the cast with Mark Evans and Zoe Rainey in it, and I haven't been up to date with catching like Emma Hatton and Wilhelmine Verkijk and Jen de Nooijer and those, because I've just been a bit bored of Wicked. But back then, 2009, which is what the year this programme is from, I was one of the biggest Wicked fangirls known to man. I will hold my hands up and admit, Wicked fangirl here back then. And how do I know I was a Wicked fangirl? Well, I'll show you. In my programme, I've got understudy slips from when Desmond Barrett came back for a while because Sam Kelly was ill, I think, or one of the wizards was poorly and he came back and covered. And then, on this page, I've got loads of understudy slips from the times I went. I mean, I've got Stevie Tate Bauer appearing in the role of Nessa Rose. Miss Sabrina Carter will be appearing in the role of Elphaba. Another performance, Miss Chloe Taylor will be appearing in the role of Glinda. That was her first ever understudy show. She wasn't even a standby back then. She was an understudy, and we didn't think she'd ever get to go on, and then she did, and I happened to be there. At this performance, the role of Bock will be played by Mr. George Ure. All these are different performances, apart from the one with Stevie Tate and Sabrina. There was one performance with Stevie Tate got to go on as Nessa Rose, Sabrina got to go on as Elphaba, and then I got to see Sean Needham as the wizard as well. So that was like a major understudy show day. What's this? Another time, 8th of the 7th or 9, Mr. Gregor Stewart will be appearing in the role of Fiero. Another one from Stevie Tate Bauer will be appearing as Nessa Rose. Shirley Jameson will be Madame Morrible. At this performance on the 16th of the 1st, 2010, Miss Lauren James Ray will be appearing in the role of Nessa Rose. I think that was her first Nessa Rose show as well. And I'd literally come off nights. I'd done 2 night shifts, come down on the train after I'd finished my night shift, went to go see her in Wicked, stayed at my friend Dan's house that night, had to get a train back first thing the next morning to get back home so I could go and finish the rest of my night shifts because I'd taken a night shift off work, and it's crazy. But the cast from here, look, I've got Alexia Kadim as Elphaba, Diane Pilkington, Oliver Thompson, Harriet Thorpe, Sam Kelly, Natalie Anderson, Alex Jessup, David Stoller. And then I was pretty successful in getting nearly all of the whole programme signed by everyone in the ensemble. I think there's only... Oh no, hang on. No, I literally got it signed by everyone in the ensemble. Oh. And then as well, I've got an understudy slip, standby slip for Sarah Earnshaw, who was like my favourite Glinda ever. She was the most prettiest, most beautiful Glinda ever. and I miss her Glinda. She was absolutely phenomenal. I'm just checking I haven't got any more understudy slips. No, I haven't, but this was the cast I saw the most of, I think, and I tried to catch like every single understudy that went on, and I almost succeeded, guys. I almost succeeded. I think the only understudies I didn't catch were Aaron Knight as Fiero. I didn't see... Did I see David Stoller as the wizard? No, I don't think I did. I didn't get to see Aileen Donahoe and Jennifer Tierney as Madame Morribles, I don't think. But then Shirley Jameson was brought in to cover for Aileen, I think, because Aileen was pregnant, so that counts as the same thing because she came in as first cover. So Sean Needham as Dr. Dillamond. I didn't see Farrick Scott as Dr. Dillamond, and I didn't see Danny Mac in this cast as Bock, but the next year it was George Ure. He got Principal Bock, and then Danny Mac became first cover Bock in the next cast, and I got to see Danny Mac go on for Bock halfway through the show. George opened it up in Shiz, and then when it got to the classroom scene, Danny Mac wasn't there and George wasn't there, and then he came on as Bock for Glinda. Miss Glinda! I know I'm just a mere munchkin. So yeah, that's like that programme. And then one of my other favourite programmes is the new cast of The Miss Saigon. Like, this is the original revival cast. So Alistair Brammer, Tamsin Carroll, Hugh, Eva. I do like this programme. It's nice and colourful. I love the pictures. I think it's a great advertisement for the show, this programme. The only thing I wish is that there were more pictures of Tanya Manalang as Kim, because she is the alternate. And I think it's only fair that she should get, like, you know, a couple more pictures. I mean, she's only got this one, and you can barely tell it's her, apart from it's written underneath Tanya Manalang as Kim. And it's like, she deserves more than just a half-side picture. I think her picture in London now, in the new programmes like that as well, it's just a half-side picture of her with Chris Peluso, like, about to snog. And she definitely needs, like, more pictures of her as Kim released, I think. Love that show. As you well know, I've been to see it 11 times now. Now, my final favourite programme, souvenir brochure, that I have in my collection here is this one. It's The Addams Family. I was so lucky to go and see The Addams Family on Broadway. It was my first ever Broadway show. We flew in on the Monday and we went to go and see this on the Tuesday night. And it was the first show I booked for. I booked front row and I just love the programme. It's actually not the cast I saw in this programme. We did get an insert in, which I think I've stuck in my scrapbook, with the new cast, but this is the old cast with Nathan Lane and B.B. Newirth. But when I went, we had Roger Rees, who sadly passed away, R.I.P. We had Brooke Shields as Morticia, and we also had Rachel Potter as Wednesday Addams instead of Krista Rodriguez, who was in the first cast, and a few others had changed as well. I think the Beinecke's had all changed. But the Lurch and the Grandma and the Festa Addams were the same, and they were brilliant. Like, Festa is brilliant. He was played by Kevin Chamberlain, and there's a picture of him here. And I just loved his little solo song, and I loved the whole show, like the concept of it. I believe they changed the storyline slightly for the tour, but when I saw it, I loved the whole Wednesday Addams becoming more normal and trying to fit in, and then realising, you know, what's normal anyway. So those are some of my favourite programmes, guys. I realise I've been talking for a very, very long time, but I'll just show you one more. And that is Hairspray. I saw the Hairspray tour, the first Hairspray tour, all over the country. I saw it 9 times in like 7 different venues, but I also saw it a lot in London. And my main reason for seeing it in London after the first time I saw it was Charlotte Ribby, the Stand By Tracy, who I loved. I don't think I ever saw Leanne Jones, to be honest, because Charlotte performed Thursday matinees, and those were the only times I could go and see Hairspray. So I remember seeing Charlotte a lot and loving her Tracy, but I got the whole cast to like sign this, and it's a programme as well as a souvenir brochure, so I'll be talking about this one probably in my programmes video. But again, really nice pictures. It's very, very weighty, it's quite heavy, and there's a lot of advertisements in here compared to some of the older ones. I mean, the older ones, they may not have the best quality pictures, but there really aren't as many adverts, which I think I prefer. But I get they need the advertisements to be able to pay for these things. But yeah, so here's another of my favourites, guys, with all the pretty pictures. I was lucky enough to see Ben James Ellis's Link a few times, and like, he's a northern lad, he's not far from where I live, so it was really cool to see him do Link. And just seeing all these programmes just makes me remember all the fun times I've had at the theatre and why I like going to the theatre so much. And I'm not sorry for spending a fortune on all these programmes, I'm really not, but it's nice to remember. The only one I'm probably sorry about buying is I can't think where I put it now. Where is it? This souvenir brochure is another Broadway one from when I went to go see Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. And I enjoyed the show, and I wanted a memento, and you get given playbills, which is the programme over there, for free. This was $25. That's the only negative thing I can say about the Broadway souvenir brochures. They are so expensive for what they are. Like, I could buy several books for $25. And I've got, like, the pictures are nice and glossy and they're shiny and everything, but even so, like, never again will I spend that much on a souvenir programme over there unless I'm really desperate to have it. I'm trying to remember how much The Addams Family was. I think that was about $15, but that's a lot better than $25. And one more, I know I'm waffling now and I'm just going on, but look at this one, guys. Never forget. I wish I could forget. It was possibly one of the worst shows I've ever seen. Nothing wrong with the actors in it. The actors were all brilliant. But, Take That, the musical. It was the worst. But some of the cast members I recognise in it. Like, you've got Scott Garnham here, who's like well known in the West End. Adam C. Booth, I got to see him in Panto earlier this year. Mark Wilshire. Philip Oliver, he was in Brookside for years. You've got Kay Murphy, I think she's Mrs. Wormwood now, isn't she, in Matilda? Penelope Woodman, she's been in Mamma Mia. Ted Kempner, who's like famous for being Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors in London. Yeah, all these great casts, all these great people, and there's some really lovely images in all these programmes. I wish I could show you each and every single individual one, but I can't. So, hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. This has been part of a series of videos I'm about to make about my collections. I'm going to show you different collections of all the different things I have here in my room. So please keep watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below, and I will see you very soon, guys. Bye!